Hilarious.
Everybody, recruiting animal here on June 30, 2021. It's 12 noon. These two, my guests, they just showed up at 12 noon. No point in coming a minute earlier to check the tech, okay? But at least you know what? She was late last time. She made herself a little earlier, and I appreciate that.
I had a
Priya,
recommendation.
this is over here. I don't know where you're going to see her. You know, Michael G. Cox tells me to do this. Over here, you'll see Priya Shethna, Shethna, and Lisa Taguchi. I don't want to say it, Lisa, but you've got a weird spelling of your name. Okay, Lisa. Is there some logic to that with all the extra I's and stuff like that, or what's the story?
It's the Japanese side. It's probably my Japanese side. So
is Lisa a Japanese name? I wasn't aware of that.
yeah, so my dad named me that way so that it could be actually spoken in English and Japanese, so it could be written in both. So obviously Lisa is a common English name, but there's also a way to write it in Japanese as well.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm glad I asked. Her last name is Taguchi, Taguchi. That's actually easier to remember, okay? I don't remember almost anything from my last interview with Priya Shethna, which was just a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago, but I do remember one thing. Whenever I asked her about business development, she said, my partner takes care of that. My partner, talk to my partner. So she brought her partner. How can I say no? And not only that, she said this Lisa Taguchi is a super whiz at business development. Not many people can say that. There's lots of recruiters who love sourcing, they love recruiting, but they hate business development. In case you don't know, that means finding new business, okay, if you're an agency. So let me preface this by saying what kind of recruiting company you two run. It's contractors, right? Or is it temp? How would you, Priya, you were here before. You start off. What kind of company is it?
It's contractors, temp to perm, and now recently we started doing perm placements. Predominantly, I want to say healthcare recruiting, but we've started tapping into like other areas like tech.
Louder. You know what? You're wearing more makeup than you wore last time. Unnecessary.
Okay? Michael.
What? Animal.
Okay?
What? You don't need it. I'm
oh my God.
My life. Sorry. Look, I can't say it to Lisa because I can't see her, okay? I'm just telling you, okay?
Okay.
For the other reporters out there, ladies, I don't think you have to wear lots of makeup to be on a Zoom interview, okay?
My choice, Michael. It's my choice. It makes me happy.
Go ahead. I can't stop you.
Okay.
Feedback. Can I talk? Go ahead.
Please be my guest.
Okay. You know what? You're not doing a good job. Lisa, what kind of company are you running?
Oh my goodness, Michael. So
it's recruiting animal on this show, okay? Get that straight. So it's in the corner of my name there.
Predominantly a healthcare staffing agency, but like Priya said, we're tapping into. You can't hear me?
Louder, okay? I can hear you, but you're whispering. Come on.
Oh,
if you would have come early, we could have adjusted the sound. Just turn it up.
Okay, so basically we run a recruiting staffing agency, and we do a little bit of coaching as well, but mainly, predominantly, it's contractors. So starting the business off, you know, we were really lucky with having the pandemic as kind of our foot in the door.
Because you're in healthcare. You didn't say that, did you? Did you guys say you're in healthcare?
Yes, I did. Predominantly, we're in healthcare, but like Priya said, we're also going into tech right now. Healthcare is rising in digital health as well.
Ask your question then. Okay, hold on.
Sure.
You're in healthcare, and if I remember correctly, Priya, last time you came on, you came late. Your excuse was that you had a candidate who called you because she was emotionally shattered because someone said something to her on the job, and it wasn't fair. You told her to go home and take a mental health day. And all she was doing was vaccinating people with the COVID vaccines. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you know a lot about recruiting, healthcare people. How do you guys pivot? That's a good word. How do you pivot into tech recruiting? Lisa, I'll let you continue, but you just caught my ear with that. Do you know anything about IT?
We're getting there.
Here's an IT recruiter, Ivan Gulenko, he's coming here from Switzerland to hear from you
Hi.
girls, okay?
Awesome.
Go ahead.
So digital health, right? That's kind of booming with like all these healthcare apps and stuff. Everyone is digitalizing everything. So that's how we're kind of getting our foot into like the tech side, because these healthcare companies do want people for UX designers, developers, things of that nature. So we're kind of learning along the
Don't
way.
you have to know the languages? Why would somebody, this is going to come back to business development, but why would somebody, you're placing people who vaccinate people, they stick a needle in the arm. You don't know anything about languages, programming languages? Do they ever say that?
Yeah,
Lisa?
so let me tell you this. So the trend that's going on in our economy right now and in staffing is there's so many bright techie people out there that are starting up with all these new healthcare tech companies, right? However, 90% of them have never operated in a hospital setting, have no clue what it's like for the experience for the patient from when the moment they walk into a facility till they're discharged, right? And so whether it be a biopharma medication, whether it be a patient reaction, like you said earlier, they're just vaccinating people. But what people don't understand and what Priya does in a really good job is the behavioral health side. There is so much psychological things impacted in healthcare, right? So you don't just stick a needle to a patient and say, okay, you're done. 90% of the time, yes. But there's that 10% where a patient will say, okay, what's going to happen to me if I get this injection? What if I get a reaction to it? Is it going to be, life-threatening? Are you guys going to take accountability for this? A lot of these things recruiters don't understand, when they're finding a stellar candidate.
You
that
didn't
a
teach
lot
her
of them
anything about this show. You were on. I praised you. I thought you were a great guest. Didn't you tell her to answer my questions? I said, what do you know about IT? Instead, she's telling me how good her partner is at hiring people with soft skills.
Well,
Is that what you're telling me right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I wanted to know. I want to know. See, I don't know anything about IT. I played some programmers in the past a long time ago. If someone gave me the search now, I'd be embarrassed to take it, even if I wanted it. I don't know anything. This guy here beside you, he was a programmer before he got into IT recruiting. He understands it. You're not a programmer. You're not recruiting people like that right now. How can you take on a search like that, Lisa? How can you maybe we should backstep, okay? I wanted to ask about business development, okay? So how do you go? We'll come back to this IT stuff. How do you go about bringing in new business? I'm assuming you came on because you're willing to share your technique.
Sure.
What do you do?
Yeah. So it's really simple. So wherever I am, whatever I do, it's all about building relationships, right? So whether it be you're having a conversation outside at a coffee shop, you're gathering with friends and family, it's really, so one, I've been involved with many of board members. So, pre-pandemic, I was part of a lot of.
Tell you, I'm famous for not knowing what relationship means. What is a relationship? Does that mean I phone somebody up once every 6 months and say hi, so they know who I am? Or does it mean I call them every week and say, oh, did you watch a hockey game last night? I mean, what is it? Or ask them about their kids. What you're talking about relationships in our business. For me, it's just transactional. What do you mean by relationship?
So when I say relationship, it might take 5 or 6 touches. When I say 5 or 6 touches, it could be through LinkedIn, it could be through an email, it could be through a phone call. And then maybe on the 4th touch, you finally get them on the phone and say, hey, I would love to have a quick 10 to 15-minute chat with you. I avoid the long.
I want to know. Okay, let's back up then. So at the first part, you're building the platform for a relationship. You don't have one yet. You're approaching them on LinkedIn. How do you do that? And Ivan and Priya, you guys can jump in whenever you want. You know the protocol here, just butt in. And if I don't want to hear from you, I'll let you know and you can fight with me, okay? Lisa, that's info for you as well. But so LinkedIn, is that always your first approach? You find people on LinkedIn and you send them a message?
It is primarily one of my first, but not necessarily always. I could
Okay, but
always,
let's
I
say
could go
that,
on
okay, so
Facebook.
we got LinkedIn. It's a major technique for you, or a tool. What do? You send a message to someone you've never spoken to before?
No, I actually study their profile. I actually take a moment to really see where they're coming from, look up to see if we have common interests, right? And a lot of times,
you went to the same university, you like the same football team. What's your common interest? You both like flaming hot Cheetos. What is it?
sometimes, yeah, it could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as we went to the same school. It could be as simple as we worked somewhere together. We see mutual colleagues that we work together with. Or also, if we're a female leading company, we'll say, hey, I love to empower other female leaders. Would you like to collaborate? So I find anything that I can really relate to where we both can really benefit from one another. I never say that, hey, let me help you staff so that I get business. I always look for what can I help your business. So I always flip it to the other person.
So what
to
is
say,
you got a message there. What's the exact kind of words that you say? Give us an example of maybe if you remember one you've actually sent.
Yeah, so I can say, hey, you know what, Kathy, it's great to meet you. I know you don't know me, but I think there's an opportunity where we can both mutually benefit from speaking to one another and understanding what we do in both our industries. Do you have 10 minutes to chat? Boom, I typically get a response. People don't like to read long paragraphs on LinkedIn. Typically, they're like, hey, what are you talking
Didn't you
about?
tell us? Hold on.
Questions.
It's just a good question, Ivan and Priya. I need coaches here. Is it okay? Am I doing okay with her finding out her technique? I don't like the expression on your face. You look disapproving. That's why I'm giving you a chance. Am I asking her a bad question? I think I'm asking her the right question.
I think you're doing okay.
Okay. It's not good.
I'm going to still chime in. I'm going to chime into Lisa's response. There are other things that we've done for BD, right?
Oh, okay. No, I can't handle too much at once. Okay. Let's finish with this then. Because that doesn't sound like something that people would respond to, okay? Why would they respond to that? And you also said it might take 5 touches to get to them. Am I right? So how often, what's the percentage of time they respond to something like that, a bland, short message?
It could be a week. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get that same day. But if they don't respond to me in a week, I follow up in a week as well.
Yeah. Okay. No. But what percentage, like 50 out of 100, get back to you on that first message, whether it's a week later or a day later?
Oh, I would typically say about 40%.
Great. Ivan, do you agree with me? 40% return on a message like that is fantastic.
Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? You can work. You don't have to answer. I just thought you might like to chime in, and he's kind of.
Well, I mean, I think the question, like it's very hard to answer, and like one can answer it from the gut. I like the percentage of replies, unless you have like a tool and you measure it. I mean,
you measure them, or are you just estimating, Lisa?
Like, I suppose. I mean, I couldn't. I probably could estimate, but it depends.
Okay, I got it. You don't have to add. Okay, that's a tool. You just say it, and I get it. Okay, you don't have to expand on it. Okay, so what's the second message if you don't hear from them? Is it again through LinkedIn? Lisa.
It could be through, it could be through LinkedIn, or I'll dig in and I'll see if I can find their email. Typically they do have it, sometimes they don't. And then I'll send them, or I'll just straight cold call them on the third time.
Okay, so if you get their email, do you have any special tools you use for email? Like Seek Out or Hire Tool or whatever the others are, Signal Hire? No? You guys don't invest in any of those tools? Oh, Priya does. Go ahead.
This is why she and I are partners, because she knows exactly whom to target, and then I know how to get their contact
info. Oh, okay.
Exactly. So we do use Lusha, Signal Hire, Kendo. So yeah.
What was Kendo?
Yeah, Kendo is a really shitty one. It's my last resort.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. Signal
Kendo,
Hire.
but it's Japanese. Isn't it Kendo where they learn to sword fight? Lisa?
Yes, it is.
I'm right. I know, right? Okay. So the second message, does it say something else? Hey, I contacted you before. I didn't hear from you. Come on, get back to me. What does it say? Or is it the same thing as second time?
Second time, I just say, I acknowledge that they're busy. You want to, it depends on, how the messaging went on the first one. But typically I say, hey, you might have missed my first message. Just bringing this back up to your attention. Would love to connect with you. Message me back.
And
or
you
give me
don't
a
say,
call.
I'm a headhunter. You don't say, I'm a staffing agency. You just assume they're going to check you out. Okay.
Yep.
And on the third time, then you pick up the phone. And if you don't get them on the line, do you leave a voicemail?
I do. Typically, they have an assistant or someone, there's typically, from my experience, there's about a good wall to get through, right? If anyone that does sales before or business development, you're not going to get through the first line. So just be mindful that there's going to be an assistant blocking you. There's going to be maybe a coordinator.
Is it an assistant, like a direct personal assistant, or is it a gatekeeper at the front desk?
It could be either or. It could be a gatekeeper. I think, nobody wants to let outsider cold callers come in and say, hey, can I talk to your director or hiring manager, right? They're like, who are you? And so what I do is before I even call them, I actually research the company website and see what they're hiring. Priya will sometimes even help me and say, hey, this company's hiring for X, Y, and Z roles. So I just jump right in and say, hey, I'd love to help you grow your team and talent.
No. You get this cranky receptionist, okay, or security guy, okay?
Yep.
And they say, who's calling, please? Lisa Taguchi. What company are you from? What's the name of your company? Do you want to say?
Oh, Yuki Careers. So I don't even go there. I don't even say who I am, to be honest with you guys. I say, I just need to talk to your manager. I have a customer complaint. Can you please direct me to them? And boom, they won't even ask me who you are, what company you're from, because I've done it too. They hang up on me. And if I do the whole spiel, I'm from UT Careers, I'm a headhunter, I can help you find talent.
So
they'll be like,
what's the title? Sorry, everybody. I find this fascinating. But I'm giving everyone an opportunity to butt in if they don't. So you are calling, what titles are you calling? Director of HR or sales director? Who are you calling?
I typically target director management of HR. And
you call in and say, I want to complain to the HR director, and the receptionist doesn't say, hey, that's not who you speak to. I'm going to send you to the person I want you to talk to. That doesn't happen. I'm going to send you to customer service. No?
Customer service does I have gone that route. So I say, hey, I've had a bad experience there. I would love to talk to somebody in management. And I keep it short and sweet.
And your partner says you do, it's very successful. I mean, like if you told me this stuff, I would say, that's not going to work for me. But she says, I kind of tell you, she praised you to the skies, okay?
We are in business, right?
Yeah, I know, but most people hate their partners, okay? You love her. You kept deferring to her. You said, I don't do it. I don't have to. I got a fantastic partner who handles it perfectly, okay? So that's the background I'm coming from. Okay, so let's say somehow you get in touch with the voicemail of the person. Actually, you say you don't get in touch with, they've got a secretary or an assistant themselves. What do you do when you get to that assistant?
When I get to that assistant, I typically say, hey, this message is for John. This is Lisa calling. Can you let him know that I have something urgent to tell him? It's regarding his business. Leave him my phone number, email, and typically I get a call.
Can you tell me what that's about? They don't ask you that question?
What do you mean? What question?
An assistant, oh, hey, it's recruiting animal. You tell your boss that I got to talk to him. It's very urgent. It's about his business. Well, give me a little more info. I'm not going to take that message. Are you crazy? They don't do that for me. And I will point out that our idol, okay, Mr. Rosen, Richie Rosen, who bills $1 million on his own a year, okay, he always leaves voicemail, okay? He says the more time, and this is relationship building according to you, the more times they hear your name, the better it is. Now, I would say in this case as well, the more times they hear my name, the more reason they have to hate me. Okay, but he's making a lot of money, right? That's why I'm coming with, I know you're successful because Priya swore to God that you are very successful. So you're not leaving voicemail. You're talking to this assistant, and this assistant is just falling for it, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep, they're falling for it. I literally, they give me their manager's email, their cell phone number. And like I said earlier, I tell them, I say, hey, I saw that you guys are, having challenges with hiring issues, retainers, or, what's the turnover
Hold
rate
on,
with
you
employees?
tell the assistant that, or is this in the follow-up directly to the boss?
Oh, in the follow-up, and not the assistant. I literally bring that up to the hiring manager.
Okay, so do you actually, so then you've got the cell phone number. Do you try to contact her directly on the cell phone? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that before you go to email? So you're at your third stage now. You've linked in a message, then you left information with, you called you phoned them up, you couldn't get them, but you got their better contact information from the assistant. Now you've got a choice. You've got a cell phone number and you've got an email. Which are you going to go for first? The email or the phone?
I do both. So I leave a voicemail on the cell phone, and I also leave them an email saying, hey, not sure if you got my voicemail, but just wanted to give you a friendly reminder. I left you a voicemail. This is also my email. If you're busy, because everyone's super busy, nobody wants to, in the moment, they might not have a chance to call me back. So I say, great, if you got my voicemail, let's set up a date and time to chat, because everything is about
but at this point, you're telling them why you're calling. I know that you've got staffing issues. Is that what you're telling them?
Yes, I do.
Can you give us the exact lines that you use?
Exact lines are, I see that you're having issues with retaining staff or having trouble growing your team members. I think I could really benefit from some of the clients I've served.
What's your basis for that statement?
Some of it, I get it on the first phone call when I talk to their assistant, and I also look at their website, right? If they have issues, if there's a chunk, if there's 20 open RN positions for one company, clearly they're going to need staff. So I leverage all the information I gather to let them know, hey, you guys are needing people.
Okay, and what's your subject line?
Knowledge, right? I mean, right now we know that healthcare is hurting. Healthcare has a turnover rate right now. So it's just kind of, I guess you shoot in the dark, but you make an educated shoot.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So
is that the emblem from Chaos behind your head, or is that your company symbol?
Oh, it's my company logo.
Oh, okay.
It's our company logo.
Okay. I thought it was something from Get Smart at first. I guess I can't see the whole thing.
But speaking of BD, Michael, I think you're also kind of fixating on the 3-touch thing.
Recruiting animal. Look down in the corner of my box there. You'll see my name. Okay.
Why can't you just fine.
Recruiting animal.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
You with me?
My bad. Anyway.
Well, hold on. Oh, wait a second. What's the subject line in the email? Okay. Lisa. Lisa, the subject line. Don't fall asleep so fast, okay? I'm not that boring. What's the subject line?
I would just say voicemail follow-up. Sometimes that's the subject line, or I would say the company name plus and Yuki collaboration. Or I would say hiring, or what's it called? Contractors available, So I would make it short and sweet, but make them catch the eye to open it.
Okay, and did you say if you call them on their cell phone and you get a voicemail message, will you leave a voicemail on the cell phone?
Yes.
What does it
absolutely.
say? What does it say?
It basically says, hey, John, this is Lisa. I'm giving you a call from Yuki Career Solutions. I see that your business is needing temporary staff. Give me a call back. I think we can mutually benefit from one another. I'll also shoot you an email so that we can coordinate a date and time where we can talk.
Okay, so we got 4 touches right now. I haven't forgotten that you're there, Priya, but Priya says something that she swears by. I have to look it up. She says, in this current market, I'd be dead if I didn't. Oh yeah, she uses texting. You don't text for business development? You text as well, Lisa, for business development?
I gauge with the client, right? So if they're a certain C-suite or vice president, I want to be respectful. I'm kind of a little bit old school in that sense, where texting is not, you start texting when you start building a relationship with the person. So if they're texting me, I'll be like, great, are you okay with text? Because sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, I respond so much faster. My emails are, they get, all of them get undersworn with all of the hundreds and hundreds of in-house emails. So then I say, do you mind if we text? But it's, for me personally, I don't really go there until I have physically spoken with them on the phone.
Follow-up. So now we're going to come back to Priya. Priya sort of undercut sort of, she gave a background for you, but she's saying now, look, my partner doesn't have to have tons of skills. We know these people are desperate, right? She's just got to get the message in there and they fall into our laps. Is that what you were saying, Priya?
Well,
so many
not
words?
quite. You still have to put some work. They actually have to trust us. It's not like we just spit out like, we have nurses, come hire us.
That's what it sounds like you're doing. And that's what it sounds like you were saying. Why would they trust you? How does she build trust? Since you're a business development expert all of a sudden.
Well, I think it goes back to credibility, right? So when we look at our clientele, we have, fortunately, One Medical, Stanford Healthcare, we have other big healthcare companies that are really looking to partner with us as well. So having that as kind of our backup support to say that these organizations actually trust us to handle the employees that we're bringing in. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you guys actually staff for them. And they're not VMS orders, they're direct orders. So we don't fight for the orders that we get from our clients. Like we've been lucky enough where we didn't have to go into VMS, and that's where our kind of, I think, quality comes in. We also go on site as well. If you're local and in the area, we'll go on site, we'll study the culture. We give that extra kind of TLC to our clients.
TLC, everybody, if you're in another country, is tender, loving care. Okay, I don't hear that too much anymore. I think it's gone out of style. But since you like the term,
what's it?
I'll
Tender
translate
loving
it for
care?
you.
So, tender loving care.
Yeah, TLC. Maybe that'll make you seem hip if you start using it in Switzerland. Okay, I hear they're a bit conservative and backwards there.
Use it
Sorry,
wisely.
everybody.
You can't just put, do you want some TLC in your emails? That's just going to give the wrong message.
Okay. Hey, back to Priya for a second there, though. Or it sounds like, don't the people ever say to you, you're dropping these company names with me. They're my competitors. Okay, so you're placing people with my competition and me as well. Does anyone ever say that to you?
They're too large. The people that we target, they don't care.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's back to where we started. Okay. You've given your creds. I'm dealing with these companies. These are the kind of people I'm placing with them. Nurses, I assume, or some kind of health technician, and with enough training to stab somebody in the arm. You don't need that much, I assume. But okay. But now you want to move into some kind of web developers, landing page developers. You have absolutely no experience there. Okay, Lisa. How do you introduce that? Say, look, you know what? Do you say, hey, you know what? I know our focus is on nurses so far, but we're also expanding. Are that just what you do? You just tell them?
I tell them flat out, I'm very honest, right? One of my key core values is integrity. And I'll tell a client right away, I say, look, our specialty isn't tech, but I will find a recruiter that is specialized in tech recruiting. But in the meantime, my partner and I can study the soft skills, like the culture of your company. And so I think that's what my clients really, really appreciate about us is we don't go high and mighty about saying we can do it, knowing that we're a healthcare staffing pro, but technology is something we want to get into.
Let me back you up for a second. And again, I'm dominating the conversation here. Everybody has a right to butt in, okay, until I butt you out. But who brings it up? Do they say, hey, Lisa, while we're at it, I'm looking for these IT people? Or do you say, which is what I suspect happens, hey, Sally, just so you know, we're also moving into this new area. If you'd like us to work with you on those, I'm open to talking about that. Who broaches that new frontier?
So let me give you a scenario, actually. We recently placed a different position with a client, and we noticed on their website that they also had tech roles. So at that time, it's Lisa and I who approached this topic and said, hey, by the way, we're also seeing these tech roles. Can we mess around with it a little bit? Can I send you some resumes and take a look? Tell me what you think of people we've sourced in the meantime.
Okay.
No commitment, nothing, just building credibility.
Okay, but she said she wouldn't leave it to you. She tells listen, we'll bring in a new recruiter, or we'll partner with a recruiter to bring in. Is that what you actually tell them? And if you tell them that, why would you say, what do I need you for to be a middleman or middle woman? Why don't I just go to a company that's supplying those people that
Because
are
we
pros.
still need the oversight. We still need the oversight. I need Priya to do the oversight of, profile submissions and how to
Why
take
would
care
they
of the
give
candidate
you that
experience.
order, okay? Why? Why would they say, Lisa, come on, I don't need you here. I'll go to Ivan. He knows something about programming. I don't have to coach him. I tell him, and boom, he's gone. Why would they give? I want you to tell me. I want you to make me. I want to be like you, okay? That's why I'm asking these questions. How can I make people give me stuff that I'm not qualified to work on? You might say, that's what I want to know.
It does boil down to fake it till you make it. Okay, they don't need to know that you know how to read a resume. You know how to judge the skills, hard skills. It's not that complicated. You can always learn, do your research, and figure out what you're looking for in this particular developer, for example. Why would the client give us that order? Because when we've made that initial placement with an XYZ position, they already trust us. They've seen the quality that we bring in things that we know. And there's trust, there's communication. We will do touch points and checkpoints with our clients and get a better, always a clearer understanding of what they're looking for and how we can improve.
Okay, so Priya, you're the sourcer. If they give you an order, now I've sourced lots of times for positions I really did know nothing about, but I tell them, listen, I don't know anything about this. Walk me through it, the key functions, give me the knockout questions. I really want a checklist because I'm just, how they say, oh, he's just working on buzzwords. That's how I work, okay, a lot of the time. So Is that what you do? I've got a checklist. I'm going to ask and I'll screen them just on the basis of that checklist. And that works. Is that what you do? And does it work out?
Checklist is a foundation. Yes, we will need a checklist if it's something we've never touched before. And oftentimes clients are more than happy to provide that. So, yeah.
Really? Okay, Ivan, I'm going to bring you in here if you're still awake, okay? You're a tech recruiter. You are a programmer. I have to tell you, I was very impressed by Priya. I was happy she wanted to come back because I thought she had a great performance in her last show. So I got a feeling she does a good job, but it's a world away from your background. What do you think of what she just said, how she recruits IT people? And, be blunt. This is a recruiting animal show, okay? You live on the other side of the world of her. She's not going to send her husband after you or anything like that.
Well, the benefits to be from the field where you're recruiting, like on what you're working on, does have benefits. But I believe the real, like, let's say, you can counterbalance that by what Priya and Lisa, what they both said. So basically, if you really, really do your job really well, if you just ask questions about I think somebody like I would rather take probably a recruiter who is like has a non-technical background but is really smart than somebody like me who happens to have like a year-long programming career and now does recruiting, because it does 100% help. Like I can make jokes or remarks that no one can do unless you have worked as a programmer, right? So this helps a ton. This is like an unfair advantage that I'm using with clients and with candidates, and sometimes it does make 100%
Okay, so you just contradicted yourself.
But,
okay, hold on, wait, let me get, you're going on, okay? Let me get in here. You said, yeah, I want a good recruiter like her, with with someone who's got a personality or whatever, better than just some techie who does, who might not be a good recruiter. And then you say, but you know what? With my background as a programmer, I can make all kinds of inside jokes that are very important. It builds relationships with those people. You just contradicted yourself, okay? Priya, what do you think about what he said? Lisa, you can comment as well, but I'll give Priya the shot.
I think I'm gonna kind of vibe with him on the fact that he said you just have to be smart. Figure it out. You can.
And you're saying you're smart.
I think
she wouldn't be my partner if she wasn't recruiting animal. Okay,
I hair. I thought you've got that in your company profile. You've got the long flowing hair, and now it's for the show. You put it up like that. Was that like a princess?
It's all really, gone from the.
It looks like science fiction. You've got that abstract symbol behind you and the Princess Leia kind of hair, and the collar of the shirt. I'm just wondering about what image that you're putting out there. Sorry, I just wanted to see who called.
Um,
Okay.
No, so let me complete my thought.
Yeah.
Again, going back to smartness, right? How can we pull off the whole tech recruiting thing? Because at some point in healthcare recruiting, when we started, I didn't know shit. I didn't know the difference between an RN versus an NP versus an LVN. Figure it out, learn. If you don't have the drive to figure it out and learn by yourself and do your own research, then you're not going to succeed. And if you do have the drive, then you can go into multiple specialties and niches. So that's a
Both
short
are
answer.
acceptable here. We say niche down there, you say niche.
I don't know what
Okay?
the plural
I
form is.
understand that. I understand. I'm not prejudiced against people who say niche instead of niche. Here's the thing, okay, although it is a French word. Here's the thing. But you started out, you weren't on your own. It wasn't just the two of you. You worked in another company, so you had a lot of people there that you could learn from. Am I right with that health stuff? Hey, Sammy, what's this? You know, didn't that happen there?
Actually,
Yeah. I don't know
no,
about
it
that.
didn't. We were self-taught. We had exposure to our clients, but as far as skills, we learned it on our own.
Really? Okay. So that's why you said, what am I here for? Okay. I'm doing it myself anyway. I'm not getting the support I need. Is that right? That's what
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think we covered that topic. Okay. About business development. Did we? Am I missing something, Lisa, that I didn't ask about?
No, I don't think we missed anything, but anyone that's listening, I really hope that they understand that business development is sales, right? So just remember, when you do outreaches, go with the mindset of you're going to get rejected 99.9% of the time. And so when you go with the mindset of, oh my gosh, I need this business, it has to work, I'm going to do everything I can to get it, the chances are the client could read you. They can hear it in your voice. They could hear it in your email, the tone. But if you go with the mindset of, oh, hey, it'd be great to be partners, but really look in the benefit of your client as to why they want to partner with you, it works out so much better. I don't know if it's because your nerves go out the way. I don't know if the client sees that, hey, they're not that overly annoying or overly aggressive. Just make it as natural and just flowing as much as possible. Because think about it, if you're in your shoes, someone comes up to you when you're standing in line and says, hey, oh my gosh, please take my card, please take my card. You're like, no, get the hell away from me. But you're like, hey, here's a card. You want to check it out? All right, bye. It leaves a curiosity note. So that's what I always do. So anyone that's listening, just go, that's my best advice.
So you have to have a bit of like, I don't need you, okay? That should be a certain background element. I don't need you. You don't want to work with me? But you didn't tell us before that 99% of your pitches are not going to work out, okay? 99.
Oh, no. Well, yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest, okay? I thought that was a good good thing to mention, and it brought something else to mind. Do you go back to people who've turned you down? How long do you wait to go back to them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll sometimes pick a holiday date too, be like, oh my gosh, hey, it's 4th of July weekend. How have you been? Or I'll go back.
Remember you rejected me 3 months ago? I'm back, baby. Is that what you say? You remind them that we spoke before? Yeah.
Pretty much. I say, hey, you didn't need me because you said you were fully staffed, but times have changed, right? Now your company's going remote and you need more people on your business. Has anything changed? Let's have a conversation. Absolutely. Remind them that you're there, and then it'll slowly stick to them. There's no shame in letting them know that you got rejected the first 2 times.
Okay. Now there was a discussion on the Facebook group about how many companies you should be trying to approach a week, how many outreaches or contacts you try to attempt every day. Do you have numbers that you try to? I'm belching, everybody. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me. Okay, I only had some peanuts before I got on the show. I haven't eaten lunch or anything. Go ahead.
I typically would say target 50 or so. When you have a list of an Excel sheet, take
50
a day
a
or
week?
2 to
50 a week?
a day.
Okay. And how many hours is that? I mean, I know Priya works in the middle of the night, okay?
Not
She
anymore.
works in the middle of the night. I can't get over that.
Not anymore. We're established now. Not anymore.
Yeah. but recruiting animal, you got to listen to this. So you say 50 a day is a lot, right? And most people say, oh my gosh, 50 a week. Think about it. It takes 1 second to send out a LinkedIn message. It takes 1 second to send out a, an email, maybe 2 minutes if it's a phone call, but that's only 2 hours of your day. If you're working efficiently, if you're working smart, I don't spend 8 hours going big BD. I am tapped out after 2 hours. I just block myself for 2 hours. I do an outreach. I have an Excel sheet of all my clients that I want to target. And then boom, you hit 50. And if if salespeople say,
come on.
But do you like do cold calls in parallel?
No,
Like
wait a
send
second.
LinkedIn is easy,
Before
but like
I forget if I don't get the blurt, okay?
Talk.
Wait a second. You said, okay, hey, look, it takes a second to send an email. Not if you're doing all the research beforehand that you claim you put into researching 50 contacts cannot be done in a day properly, in my opinion.
No. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying before I make my Excel sheet and write down the company names, in the Excel sheet, there's a section where when I'm building the BD Excel sheet, right? Before I even go target them, I make notes. I say, okay, this company needs this. So that alone will take 2 to 3 days just to build your BD Excel sheet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're working all day building your target sheet. So the next 2 days, you're contacting those people. You said you're spending 2 hours a day on it. What do you do for the rest of the day?
Rest of the day, so obviously Priya and I own a business together. I got to handle marketing stuff. I got invoices to take care of. I got, if there's an issue with the client.
She said you handle that. Let's give Ivan wants to get in here. Go ahead, Ivan.
I just wanted to ask, how do you let's say you see a company and you send the LinkedIn connect, but you also call at the same time, or do you and which software you use for calling, something like Open Phone, or which tool is it integrated in your CRM, or do you do the connect? So you do a lot of LinkedIn connects for 2 hours, and then you do for 2 hours only cold calling, or do you do it randomly mixed activities?
Honestly, I mean, it's a mix of everything, right? Because some companies might not even have a LinkedIn, right? Some companies have a direct line. It's so hard for me to pinpoint how and what I spend my 2 hours doing, because it's a mixture of everything, right? So, but what I do know is to keep track. I make a note. Did I call them? Did I email them? Did I go on, did I leave a voice message on the generic line? So then in a week or two, I go back and I also date everything that I do. So I know that I'm not going crazy in my head. There's no way a person can remember who they called. I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. So I make those notes, and it sounds very old school, I know, but I think taking notes, and even when you get someone on the phone, they'll talk about, some people will ramble about their personal life, right? And great, you want to talk about your kids? Next time I call them and say, hey, Sally, I remember your daughter just graduated high school. How's everything going? And she'll be like, oh, you remember that? And it's a personal relationship.
But wait a second. There. Don't they say, hey, I can see through this, Lisa. You don't give a hoot about my, I got criticized for saying those bad words last time. Trust me.
Really?
Yes, I'll say a hoot. You don't give a hoot about my kids. You just are mercenary, and you're mentioning them to get my money, okay? Nobody ever challenges. No one challenges you like that, right?
Knock on wood, it hasn't. Maybe, I don't know, recruiting animal, you have a pretty scary voice sometimes, so maybe that's why, but my voice is kind of sweet, so I got very lucky. No, it has not happened. No, not yet.
Okay, but we'll bringing it with what Ivan said. He mentioned about the CRMs. It sounds like you're not using any kind of applicant tracking system, or you're using spreadsheets, simple spreadsheets.
But we're going into using CRM and ATS system, though, because we are growing, and I can't keep this up forever. But we will be going into using.
Okay, I will mention then at this point, just so I like Ivan, and he invented an applicant tracking system that he's pushing himself. It's called Clang. I'm not recommending it for you necessarily, but I'm just letting everybody know for free. Okay, not paying me. KLANG.SO. KLANG.SO. You want to check it out? He says it's fast. That's his thing. Okay, it's fast. So there you go.
Well, I will connect with us after for sure. I would love to hear more about it.
Okay. So should we? We've only got 12 minutes left or something. I always feel when I just hammer about something, I feel guilty. People are going to get bored, but that's what I like. I like to just get down to the granular level. Okay. I don't like people to make general statements and then, think I understand them when I don't. Okay. But what about, you mentioned marketing. Do you want to tell us what you do, marketing you do? I've got tons of questions, by the way, that we haven't even touched and we won't probably touch this show, but I can switch to them. Should we talk about marketing or do you want to do that another time? I think we should do it right now. What do you mean when you say you're doing marketing?
So marketing, I haven't had a lot of time to focus on it. I will be when we bring on our VP of Ops.
You just said you spend those 2 days, you're doing
Well, let me tell you this, recruiting animal, because I have such high expectations of what I want the marketing platform to be. For example, we have to do our Instagram, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, but also just even, building candidate referral pipelines, right? So letting them know that there is a referral. If you send us over a good candidate, you can earn some money. So creating all those stuff, right? And then how do I make it better in getting that out there? To say that, hey, you're doing such a great job. Maybe you have friends that are in the same work ethic or have the same values, bring them on board. But also we create this prior from scratch. So we don't hire anybody of that sort. So we take that and then we don't spend too much dollars on marketing. We do it all ourselves.
Yeah, okay, but that sounds also like you haven't done much yet yourself. You've got a lot of plans.
Exactly.
And to tell you the truth, I don't know when you're going to find the time to do it unless you get up in the middle of the night as well. I had to get up in the middle of the night as well yesterday too, but not to work. Sorry, what did you say, dear?
When you're just, investing in your personal brand, that's kind of your marketing.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Or like what? Commenting on like, Facebook postings? Well,
yes, some marketing. No, but just
that is marketing.
Increasing your visibility on like professional platforms and stuff. Like Lisa is a part of the Women Health organization. I don't know what the full form is, but yeah, that's it. but when I guess they had this virtual conference, and when we both attended it or sponsored it, we were one of the sponsors, that was visibility. And to some extent, that is your marketing.
Did you get any calls or business from sponsoring something?
Yes. We're working on, yeah.
That's a no, okay? That's a no.
One is better than two.
No, let me think about it. That's a no. Thinking means no.
Hey, we're talking, okay? We're talking about it. The business person and us. So it's in the talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? That's sort of I mentioned conspiracy, and I had a question about QAnon, but let me see. Okay. Let me see if I got any other big questions for you. Does it ever happen that, you get an order and they give you the price they're willing to pay, and then when you bring in a person, they say too expensive, and it's within the range? How many problems do you have with these new clients that you're bringing in?
That hasn't happened yet. I think the only issues we are seeing right now is not so much the wages, but more so about coaching the client about their expectations also. I think employers at this time are still playing catch up with the new work culture that's coming up, with remote and this and that.
Well, aren't your people all on site? They're nurses, right?
Some are remote jobs.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so wages hasn't been an issue, but.
So who takes the order? Like, for instance, when I was doing a lot of sourcing, I would like it if the project manager or client relationship manager would bring me in to take it, because I asked better questions about doing the actual heavy load for the search. So when Lisa takes the order, does she bring you in all the time? You said sometimes, right? Oh, she does, eh?
All the time, yeah.
Okay. And so do you ever say, hey, Sally, that she's the client, are you crazy? No one's going to take this job unless you offer remote. Get with it. I mean, are you in the face of these people?
We've said that to a few clients, yeah. It's just, mm-hmm. But it's been more than that. It's been where you really have to have a come to Jesus talk with them. It's more than just.
Aren't you Hindu? No. Okay, well, why not say come to Krishna? Okay, what's wrong with that?
I'm agnostic. You must know. but yeah, we've had the come to God talk with them where it's like, this is just not going to happen and you're hurting and that's why you're hiring us. So help us help you.
Oh, okay. What about, here's a related question, because you have to discuss fees. What about negotiation? Lisa, do you have to negotiate ever in your role? And are there any techniques that you use? I mean, like, what is there? I find when people talk about techniques of negotiation, they just say, find your walk away point. If you can't get something reasonable, forget about it. Is there anything you have? Give us a story if you've got one.
Yeah, sure. So, for example, when we did, the mass hiring for the vaccination, we had different states to hire for, right? So let's, for example, cost of living in Texas versus, let's say Arizona and New York are totally different, right? So obviously the pay rate for our candidates are going to be a little bit different. If the client says, go find me a phlebotomist with the same pay rate as Arizona, and they're going to expect us to find a candidate with the same pay rate in New York, that's when I'm like, hey, look, that's not going to happen, right? I mean, some of it is common sense. Let's hope to God the hiring manager has some common sense. I'm just going to say, I can get you a candidate, but it's going to be a really shitty one. This person won't show up. This person's going to give you more headaches. You're going to have to deal with, covering and from in-house, and it's just not worth it. Obviously, it's the most number one topic we don't like, most people like to shy away from, but I like to always put in the word, hey, we want to make this a long-term investment. We're not here just to grab short-term business. We want a long-term partnership. What is the rate that you think is going to work for you guys in years to come? And if there are, changes in the economy or living costs, be open about it with me. And we actually have candid conversations.
Do you ever walk away? Do you ever walk away? First of all, I mean, do you really know?
I don't walk away. It's because I have a very stubborn personality. I'm very resilient. I do not walk away. I mean, I know I want to sometimes, but I challenge myself, and so does Priya. We challenge ourselves to see how long we can stay in the arena. And so far, we've been very lucky to survive.
But Mr. Rosen, and I will back me up here. His big deal, one of his primary rules is walk away, fire the bad clients. Okay, if you can see they're going to be trouble at the start, don't waste time with them. And if they are dicking around, sorry, it might be a bad word. If they're fighting with you over salary, when you claim you know what the market is demanding, okay, and you seem to have confidence in your knowledge of all 50 states, cost of living, okay, so if they're saying $10 an hour, okay, and you're saying 15 or whatever, you never say, so long, Sally, okay, is that it? You say, I'm stubborn and I'm going to bend her to my will. Is that what you're telling me?
No. You're in that sense, you're absolutely right. I'm talking about in my experience so far, we haven't had that. We've been able to convince them to go to our bill rates, right? But as you're saying, if there's a client that's going to push and shove and they're in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, I will say, okay, that's not possible. I will definitely walk away. Absolutely not worth our time, not worth our energy.
And how do you do it diplomatically? And do you call back after you've told someone to hit the road?
Oh, no, I don't call back. Are you crazy? I'd be shot in the head if I did that.
No, 3 months later, you said you will call. It's July the 4th. We didn't make it last time, but, let's party now.
No, I'm not going to call them back. Then I already know they're not willing to flex on the bill rate. So I would say I really appreciate your time.
What if you two are on a call or in a meeting with somebody and you disagree about something? Will you say, can we go outside for a minute? How do you coordinate that?
We're just we text each other.
We text each other. If it's a Zoom call like this, we'll text each other. Priya knows how to read my mind.
You don't have signals. If
well.
It's a Zoom call, you could have, that means no, okay?
No, Priya can tell from my tone, but I'll say typically my getaway line is, let's take it offline and let's talk one-on-one, right?
Okay. But Priya's listening to you negotiate. She's saying, I can't recruit this. This is crazy. No way. But you don't say that, eh? Priya, you don't say, wait a second, Lisa, I have to tell you, from my professional opinion in the field at this time, that's not going to work. That's a diplomatic way to do it without making her look like a fool. Is that, do you ever do that?
No, well, but yes, no, I don't actually, because what I always tell the
Oh, I
client
asked
is,
her. She does
depending
it
on,
to you. Okay, go
oh,
ahead. You
Priya,
can
go ahead,
answer.
you answer.
Yeah, no, I'll just text her like this can't be happening, and Lisa doesn't need me to tell her diplomatically how to say it. She'll just say it the way
No,
she
but
wants.
maybe she's got. See, my experience was that the client relationship manager is always an idiot. Okay, sorry, Lisa. All they care about, and man, they're an idiot, and that gives them their ability. They don't really realize how hard it is to recruit, source, and recruit good people. They'll promise anything, right? They'll say, yeah, sure, sure. Hey, and I'm saying, no, this is wrong. Okay, and I would always have fights with them.
That's how she and I are so in sync, because she'll never overpromise. Lisa is the one who knows that Priya has to go back on the computer and try to find this human being to fill this position. So she's not going to speak for me. She won't make all these promises to the client before she and I touch base privately.
Whose dog?
My dog.
Your dog. You got a dog too? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's one of the questions. We're going to have to end now, but that was one of the questions on the that it was on. I found intriguing. It was on Facebook this week. The person said, one of my best hires, I had a fight with the hiring manager in order to make it. And I've had that experience too. You're talking to so many people in the market, you just have an intuitive feel. Even if you're not a pro in that field, you say, this person's great, this guy's great. And they look at it and say, they're too young, not enough experience. No, see him, you got to see him. I mean, that's how I talk. Yeah. In business, you have to see this person. I'm not going out there again looking for somebody better when I've got someone good. Okay?
Yeah. Well, another thing is client managers should all spend a week or two recruiting and sourcing a candidate. I honestly think if I didn't know how much time it took to recruit a candidate, I would not know how Priya feels. I would not know how my recruiters feel, right? So every client sales manager should do recruiting for a month, just for the hell of it, because they'll really understand the painstaking follow-ups in the middle of the night, or not middle of the night, but like after dinner, early morning text messages. Like, it's a lot of time. You don't just throw a candidate and say, okay, recruiters, go get it. Client managers should definitely be in the shoes of a recruiter at least once before they start demanding, go get whatever you want.
Good. If I ever start editing this, I'm going to make that a separate speech with some heading. Okay. If you think of something good, tell me. Okay. I've really enjoyed having you here today. I'm glad you dragged Lisa here, Priya. You girls are welcome to come back. I've got lots of questions, but this time I wanted to investigate your specific business. So why don't you tell us, you want to plug I should have asked you at the beginning if you wanted to plug something. So plug your business now if you want to. Go ahead. You can have a fight over who does it first. Go ahead.
Lisa can do it. She's BD.
Yeah, BD, go ahead.
What do you want me to say? Plug my business down? What does that mean?
Well, we just sort of mentioned it offhand. If you want to tell people hey, if you're impressed with my ability to, recruit or call me up at UK, what's it, UK Solutions or .com?
So if you love to connect with Priya or myself, you can look us up on Instagram at UK Career Solutions.
You can also find us. You got to spell that. U-K-E. Oh, U dash. Go ahead.
U-K-E-Y, which also stands for our slogan as "You are the key to your success." Find us on LinkedIn. My name is Lisa Taguchi. You'll see Priya Shethna. Message us personally. I'll be happy to connect with you. And also just keep a lookout on, whatever you guys have questions about, we're happy to answer.
Okay. And Ivan, do you want to do your own, or should I do it for you again?
So right now we are building Clang.so, which is an applicant tracking system optimized for small recruitment firms, where you can basically have the best, in our opinion, experience, because the web technologies we use are the best that you can use in 2021. So everything is super fast, below 100 milliseconds. And also you can merge the client notes with the PDF and send it to the client with your logo everywhere. And it's like takes 3 seconds.
I asked for a plug, not a speech. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.